And let's go ahead and let the eyes close. And start to tune into your breath. Just giving yourself a moment here to arrive in your body and in your practice. Feeling the expansion and the length of the in-breath, sitting up straight and tall. And the release and the cleansing of the out-breath. Good. On your next in-breath, go ahead and extend the arms all the way up alongside the ears, reaching toward the sky. Exhale, hands together, heart center. And again, like that, the arms reach wide and lengthen all the way up. Extend. And exhale, hands together at the heart. Just starting to link breath and movement. One more time like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Bring your hands behind you. Uncross your legs. Draw your shoulders back. Lift up through your chest, through your heart. We're going to go ahead and windshield wiper the knees side to side a few times. Just starting to get into the hips and the lower back. Taking a couple more breaths in this way. Good. And then let's go ahead and shift forward to the hands and the knees. And we'll start to move the spine with the breath through cat-cow. Okay, so on the in-breath, you're coming into a little bit of a back bend, opening the heart, lifting through the tailbone. And then as you exhale, rounding the spine and coming into a cat pose. And inhale, opening the heart, lifting through the tail. And exhale, tucking the tail and rounding the spine. Good. A couple more like this. If you would like to sit all the way to child's pose or move all the way forward into a cobra or a sphinx pose, you can work those two sides or two extremes of this movement. And just starting to feel into your physical body here this morning. Good. Taking one more full breath here. And then when you're ready, come back up to hands and knees, neutral spine, and make your way into a downward facing dog. First downward dog of our practice, lifting up through the knees. So let's start with the knees fairly bent in this pose. The knees fairly bent, and a lift up through the waistline, the navel, the tailbone, like you're trying to reach the pelvis up and back toward the back of the room and up maybe toward that top corner. And then pedal through your feet. So shift your weight from one foot to the other and start to feel into a stretch into the hamstrings and the calves and the backs of the knees, the ankles. And let's give this 2 more breaths, noticing how the breath affects your down dog, your posture, your expression. Good. And then bend your knees, look forward, take a step or light hop toward the top of your mat. Lengthen out your spine, so you're going to lift chest and belly away from the thighs, coming to a flat back. And then exhale, fold it back in. And do that one more time. So inhale, lengthen, extend through the crown of the head. And then exhale, fold, and bring it in. Hang out here for just a couple of breaths. Put a really generous bend in your knees. Let your head relax. Take another full breath here. And then go ahead and come all the way up to standing. You can take your time, reach and lengthen up through the arms and open. And then exhale, hands come together in front of the heart. Good, you guys. Arms back up on in-breath. Reach up tall. Open the front body. Exhale, dive forward and fold. Relaxing through your neck and through your jaw. Halfway lift on your in-breath. Extend your spine. Take your hands down to the ground and let's make our way to plank pose, upper push-up. So really root down through the hands, the pads of the fingers, the palms. Lift through your belly, through your core. Take another full breath here. You can always modify this by coming down to the knees. Then your next exhale, go ahead and lower down Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down to the belly. And then slide the forearms forward for a Sphinx pose. So the elbows just a little bit in front of the shoulders and telescope the rib cage and the chest forward, away from the waistline and away from the pelvis. Take another breath here. Feel for that traction. And then exhale, release back down, hands next to the mid-ribs. You can press up through plank or hands and knees, and then go back to downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. And you guys that are here live in the room, keep me posted on the temperature because the heater just kicked off and I can certainly go turn it on again if need be. Okay, just let me know. Take another full breath, lifting up through the hips, through the tailbone. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop toward the top of your mat. Perfect. Lengthen to your halfway lift on the in-breath, spinal extension. Exhale, fold, and bring it in. Good. Come all the way up to standing. Anchor the feet. Stretch up, reach tall, lift and open. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Let's keep this moving, you guys. Keep the body warm. Arms up. Inhale. Exhale, big swan dive forward, coming into your fold. You can bend the knees. Flat back as you inhale. Lift chest and belly away from the thighs. Plant the hands to the ground. Step or hop your way back. Plank pose. Good. Again, you can do this from the knees. Lower down Chaturanga. And this time, keep the hands where they are. Peel open into a little cobra pose. Shoulders back and down, heart leading, and then downward facing dog on that exhale. And with each breath in your down dog, think about molding or fine-tuning your pose. So instead of holding it firm and still like a statue, imagine the breath is moving you from the inside out. A little bit of space and length on the in-breath. Maybe a little more engagement or more effort on the out-breath. Taking one more breath here in your downward dog. Bend your knees and look forward. Let's make our way back up top of the mat. Flat back as you inhale, so lengthen chest and belly, lift. Exhale, fold, and bring it in. Perfect. Back up to standing on in-breath. reach up, maybe a little mini back bend here. And then exhale, hands back together in front of the heart. Beautiful. Arms back up as you inhale. Bend your knees and move into a chair pose. So the knees bend like you're sitting back into an imaginary chair. And then bend your elbows. Come to a goalpost position with your arms. So the reason why we're doing the arms in this way is we're trying to create a little more space at your chest, the front of the heart. So think about sitting a little bit deeper into that chair and then lifting up a little bit more through the center of the chest. Take 2 more breaths here. And exhale, hands down, forward fold. Flat back as you inhale, lengthen out your spine. Hands root down, take a step or hop back, plank pose, chaturanga, or you can always skip that and go directly to down dog. Inhale, cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Feel into the ground here through both hands. Take your right leg and send it back behind you. Reach it up to a 3-legged down dog. Take another full breath here. Push with your hands. See if you can lift your right leg up 1 more inch. And then exhale, hug your right knee in toward your chest and step your foot all the way through into a lunge. Come down to your back knee and extend and lengthen up through the arms. You can always pad your back knee with either a blanket, or you could flip over that left edge of your mat, okay, if it feels a little bit tender there, sensitive. Taking the arms up. Let's bend the elbows like we did in chair pose to invite a little more space and lift and opening through the heart. Take 2 more breaths here. You might deepen into the lunge a little bit and lean back. Last full breath. Now as you exhale, bring the hands down to the ground. Shift your hips back just a little bit and keep the left hand down. If you happen to have a block, you can put the hand on a block and send your right arm up for a twisting lunge. The right shin bone straight up and down, maybe gazing up at your right hand. Now keep it there, or for a little extra effort here, pick up your back knee. Keep your legs really engaged and strong and hugging toward that midline. Take 2 more huge breaths here in this twist, opening up. Exhale, right hand back to the mat. Step right foot back to plank. Now listen carefully, we're going to shift into side plank on the right hand. So shift your weight into your right hand, your right palm. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your feet, flex your toes back, pull your hips up away from the ground, pull your right shoulder away from the ear. A good way to modify here is to come down to the right knee for support. Perfect, you guys. Breathe, pull your hips up, take 1 more breath. And all the way back, plank pose. You can skip the chaturanga if that feels like it's too much, or move through it. Chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, and then downward facing dog. Good. Take a moment here just to catch your breath and to just reconnect to your center. And then extending the left leg back. Reach it up. Long and lengthened. We're going to take a couple of breaths here in this 3-legged down dog. Feeling into the ground with the hands, with the palms and the pads of the fingers. Take another full breath. Push with your hands. Lift your left leg up 1 more inch. Exhale. Pull left knee in toward your chest. Step your foot through. Come down to your right knee. And extending up through the arms. And again, you can pad that knee with your mat, that right edge of your mat, or with a cushion. Take another breath here. Bend your elbows and turn the heart more open. So again, similar to what we were doing in our chair pose, you can deepen into the lunge a little bit, open through the heart and through the chest. Take one more breath here. And then stretch back up and bring your hands down to the ground. Now you're going to pull your hips back just a little bit so your left knee is directly over the left ankle. Right hand stays on the ground. Left arm reaches up for your twist. Take another breath here. Maybe picking up your right knee. Squeeze those inner thighs toward midline, toward your center. 2 more breaths here in your twisting lunge. Good. And exhale, left hand back to the mat. Step back to plank. Hold for a moment. Shifting your weight into your left hand, your left palm. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Or come down to that left knee for support. Don't let your hips sink down toward the ground. Really pull them up away from the earth. Awesome. Awesome, Jessie. Take another breath here. Maybe float that right leg up. Last breath. Beautiful, you guys. Back to your plank pose. Your choice, down dog, or move through that chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Good. You guys come down to your knees and then all the way down to your forearms for dolphin pose. So with dolphin, we want the elbows to be directly underneath the shoulders, like we're stacking that upper arm bone. And so a good rule of thumb is to grab a hold of opposite biceps and just measure that distance, placing the elbows shoulder width apart. Keeping the elbows glued there to that spot, you can take your forearms back forward so the fingertips are pointing forward and your forearms are like railroad tracks, or you could clasp your hands and make a tripod. But we want a really solid foundation with the forearms and the palms. Let your head relax, shoulders away from the ears. Pick up your knees. The knees can stay a little bit bent. Lift up through the waistline and the hips, the pelvis, maybe tiptoe forward a little bit toward the face. Squeeze your elbows and your forearms toward midline. So there's this kind of isometric hugging in. And let your neck and your head relax. Let your face and your jaw relax. Use your core. And then tune into your breath. And you can always take a break on the knees, but also challenge yourself here. Maybe you take the right leg up for a few breaths and reach through the toes, lengthen through that leg. Imagine getting pulled up toward the ceiling with that right leg and the right toes. And then switch sides if you're doing the leg up. Take your left leg up, reach and lengthen. Active through the toes. Again, imagine getting lifted up through that leg, through the foot, pressure off of the shoulders, left foot back to the floor. Take one more breath in your dolphin, everybody. And then exhale, come on down to your knees and rest in child's pose. Are we still friends, you guys? Just layers are coming off, so I'm just taking that as a sign. Building some heat. So just take some time in child's pose, resting forehead to the ground. Good. Come back up to your hands and your knees, everybody. Walk your hands over to your left, kind of to the left side of your mat or even off of your mat. And you're going to pull your hips back into the right. So you're stretching into the right ribs and side body, like a little crescent-shaped child's pose. Taking one more breath here. And then come back up and switch. So walk your hands over to the right and pull your hips back and to the left. So really feeling into that side body stretch through the left arm and ribs and side body. Good. Last breath. And then make your way back through center and all the way back to a downward facing dog, lifting up through the hips. Good. Awesome work, you guys. Take a breath here. Bend into your knees, look forward, step or hop forward toward the top of your mat. Lengthen out your spine on the in-breath, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it in. Come all the way back up to standing. Reach up, lengthen, and then exhale, hands to the heart. So maybe we should just have a thing when you start to get chilly, we'll just do dolphin for like 3 minutes. And then instead of turning the heat on, we'll just do dolphin. Does that sound good? Okay, I'm glad we agree. Okay, so hands to hips, you guys. Maybe I'll just face forward. So hands to hips, we're gonna work with a standing balance today, tree pose, and then we're gonna go from there into a little series, a little sequence. So let's stand on the right foot first and pull the left knee in. You can just start to feel into your balance here. You can hold on to the knee or just lift the leg up. That's up to you. Then we're going to open this knee out and see if we can kind of plug the foot into the inner thigh or inner calf. So we don't want to put the foot directly on top of or to the inside of the knee. So try to go above the knee or below the knee. And then pull your palms together. So as you press your palms together at the center of your chest, also press your foot into your standing leg. So there's a kind of a resistance there, a connection. And then extend the arms up, reaching the branches of your tree up. See if you can, the same way, root down through the sole of your foot to the ground and reach fingertips to sky. And it's totally fine to wobble and fall out of the balance. That's part of the practice. Take another breath here. And then exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Good. Direct your left knee forward. It's just as we did before. And now you're going to kick your left leg back and come into let me turn to the side. Come into a warrior 3 variation with your arms back along your sides. So to vary this a little bit, you could bring your right hand to your right thigh, or both hands to your right thigh, or extend the arms forward alongside your ears. But try to keep your hips square. It's okay to have a little bend in your standing leg. Take 2 more breaths here. And then gently step that left foot to the back of your mat. And you're going to sweep the arms up into a high lunge or a crescent lunge. So back heel lifted, right leg bent. It's okay to have that back knee a little bit bent as well. And breathe here. If you liked that variation of goal posting the arms, you can work with that here as well. Strong legs, strong through your core, lifted through your heart. Take 1 more breath here. Re-extend the arms up. Now listen carefully, right hand to right thigh, left hand down to the ground. So remember this, we were here before. Take the right arm up for a twisting lunge. You can always come down to that back knee if you like and work with that version. If you want to take this a step further, bring your right hand back to your right thigh, lift your left hand off of the mat, and take your elbow, your left elbow, over to the outside of your right knee and come into a prayer twist. No need to do that, it's just an option. 2 more breaths here. Good, you guys. Now, spread the arms, so left hand down, right arm reaches up, gaze down at the floor, and you're going to inch the left hand forward about a foot beyond the toes, picking up this back leg for a revolved half moon. I know, this is a doozy, especially, we've been on this leg for a while. Just stick with me, you guys. A couple more breaths here in this twisted balance. Take 1 more breath, reach to that the right fingertips, bring the right hand down, step left foot to the back of the mat. Now, walk your hands over to your left side, spin the feet. We're going to turn the left toes out a little bit, bend into the left knee, and flex your right toes back. So this is a pose called Skandasana, or crouching tiger pose. It's okay for that left heel to lift up a little bit. And if it bugs your knee, just keep your hips up higher. You don't have to go that deep into the pose. Some of you might be able to unweight the hands and kind of surf this for a sec. Good. Switch sides. So bend into your right knee. Flex your left toes back. And maybe unweight your hands a little bit here. Good. Awesome. And then bring it back to center. Parallel your feet this time. And take a nice deep forward fold, a wide straddle, forward fold. Keep the inner and outer edges of your feet rooted down. Good, you guys, take 1 more breath here. And then lengthen out your spine as you inhale. Anchor the feet, connect to your core, come all the way up to standing. Turning the right toes forward toward the front of the room. Now, re-extend out through your arms, keeping the legs straight. We're coming into a pose called triangle. Okay, so you're going to reach forward, lengthen through the right arm and ribs and side body, and just tilt this thing over. Right hand to shin or a block or the big toe. Wherever you can reach, arms spread wide. Think about the heart staying lifted and wide open. Good. Taking 1 more breath here. Stretch your left arm forward alongside your ear. Lengthen. Reach through your fingertips. And then exhale both hands down to the floor. Now, your right leg is going to stretch back behind you. Reach it up toward the ceiling, 3-legged down dog. Bend your right leg, open through the hip. Now, cross your right knee over to touch your left elbow, coming into a little twisting plank pose. Hang out here for a breath. And then send your leg back behind you. Reach it up a little bit taller. And then right knee comes over to your right elbow. So you're coming into a little core work here for a sec. Take your leg back 1 more time. And pull your right knee in toward your chest. Lift and engage. And then set your leg down for pigeon. Whew. It was a tough road to pigeon, but we got it. That should be the name of the class, Tough road to pigeon. John, if you're listening, that's what you can name this class on YouTube. So if you want a little quad stretch, go ahead and bend your back leg, grab a hold of your foot. Good. Just a little optional stretch here. And then you can let that go and walk your hands forward and settle into pigeon. You guys ready for the heater? I can turn it back on. No? You guys are okay? It's good now? Okay. You guys just don't want it on for the other side, do you? You know what we have to do on the other side, so take another full breath. And then bring it back upright. And we're going to tuck the back toes under. Send the right leg back behind you into the air, three-legged down dog. Bend your right leg, open the hip. Maybe this is your pose, or you could flip your dog over. Unweighting the right hand, flip your dog over into a wild thing pose or a three-legged back bend. So you're opening up the chest, reaching right fingertips toward the front of the room. Last breath here if you're in this flipped over dog, and then come back to regular down dog, and you can move through a vinyasa if you want. Chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, all the way back to downward facing dog. Good work, everybody. Take a breath here. Bend into your knees, look forward, step or hop back up top of the mat. Lengthen out the spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold it in. All the way up to standing on your next in-breath. Reach up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Awesome, you guys. Let's go ahead and bring the hands back to the hips. And we're going to shift the weight into the left foot and pull the right knee up. And just work with our balance here. You can either hold on to the knee with the right hand or keep the leg floated up. Take your right knee out to the right. And then see if you can plug that right foot into the left inner thigh or inner calf. Bring the palms together at the front of the heart. And press your palms together. And at the same time, press the sole of your right foot to your standing leg. And then extend the arms up. Another thing that really helps me in standing balance is to fix my gaze, my eyes on one spot that's not moving. So I'm kind of looking right at that light above Jen's head is what I'm doing right now. Good. Yep, it's your halo. Take another full breath here as you root down, reach a little taller. Exhale, hands come together, the heart. Then point your right knee forward. Keep your leg lifted. Use your core. Kick your right leg back into your balance, into your warrior three. Now the arms can come back along your sides, or you can press your hands into your left thigh, or arms can go forward. Good. You can also bring your hands down to the ground or blocks. But your standing leg is a little bit bent. Couple more breaths here. Reaching through those right toes and lengthening forward through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, step that right foot back. So you're coming into a high lunge. Left leg forward, right leg back. Keep the heel lifted. Strong lunge. Maybe bend your elbows like we've been doing to give the heart a little more space to open and to lift and to extend. Take another full breath here. Maybe lean back a little bit. Re-extend the arms back up. We're going to bring left hand down to the thigh, right hand to the ground or a block. Now you always have the option of coming down to the back knee. Let's go ahead and send the left arm up for your twist. And if you recall, you have those same options. You could keep it here or left hand to left thigh. Unweight your right hand, cross elbow over to knee, and come into your prayer twist. Lifted through your back leg, really strong through your core, opening up into your version of this twist. Maybe spread the arms here if you haven't already. Look down at the floor. Inch your right hand forward about a foot beyond the toes. Pick up this back leg. This is a push here, you guys. You can do it. You can modify this by bringing your left hand to your left hip or keeping that left arm up. Couple more breaths here. Root down through your left foot. Reach back through your right toes. Left fingertips to sky. Exhale, left hand down. Step it back into your lunge. Now, walk your hands to your right. Remember this thing we did, Skandasana? So you're going to turn the right toes out a little bit, bend into your right knee, flex your left toes back. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit of a stretch in your left leg and hamstrings. Okay, you can keep it there with the hands on the ground, or you can surf. You can kind of float your arms out. Good. Nice, body. Couple more breaths here. Nice, Wendy. And then hands back down and swivel on over to your other side. So you're going to bend into your left knee and flex the right toes back. Hands can stay down, or you can try to float the arms. Good. And then let's bring it back to center. Parallel your feet and come into a nice forward fold. Now, you can keep it here, or you might unweight your hands and clasp the hands behind your back and draw your hands away from the low back, head toward the ground. Deep shoulder stretch here. Good. Last full breath. Let's go ahead and release the clasp, hands down to the ground, flat back on the inhale. Connect to core, root down through your feet, hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. Turning the left toes forward, setting up for triangle. Re-extend the arms out. Reach the left fingertips forward and bring the left hand down toward the shin or ankle or block, right arm reaching up. So root through your back foot, open through the chest. Keep your heart wide open. Take 2 more breaths here. Feeling into that right side body. Let's take the right arm forward alongside your ear, lengthening through this side. Beautiful job, you guys. Bring it back to the floor, hands down, and your left leg will go back behind, reach it up. Bend your left leg, open up through the hip. Cross your left knee over to touch your right elbow, twisting plank pose. And then take the leg back, reach it up a little higher. And left knee over to your left elbow, strong and lifted through your core. Take the leg back, reach it up. And exhale, pull that knee in toward the chest and set your leg down for pigeon pose. Bend your back leg if you want this additional quad stretch for just a moment here, a couple of breaths. Good, and then release out of that and settle down into your pigeon and take several breaths here. Guys, I'm going to be right back. All right, I didn't leave you for long. It takes a while to turn that heat on. I have to go all the way upstairs, adjust it. All right, take the body back upright. Whew. And then we're going to extend the left leg back behind, reach it up. Bend the leg and open. Maybe keep it here. Or flip your dog. Unweight your left hand, flip it over, opening, reaching through the left arm and the fingertips. Take another full breath, opening through the heart. And then flip it all the way back to down dog. Maybe taking a vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. Good. Come down to your knees and down to your forearms. Guess what we're going to do again, you guys? Dolphin. Dolphin take 2. So if dolphin is not for you, you're welcome to do something different. You could come up to your seat and work with boat pose, connecting to your core and getting off of your shoulders. That's fine too. Otherwise, I really want you to focus on engaging your core, lifting through Uddiyana Bandha as a way to take you out of your shoulders, okay? So elbows shoulder width apart, let your head relax, tuck your toes, pick up your knees, coming into your dolphin. Squeeze your elbows and your forearms in, shoulders relax away from the ears. Put a little bend in your knees. Pull the belly up. Imagine you had a string attached to your navel, to the belly button, lifting you up and out of the shoulders. You're welcome to do a leg up if you want, or just keep it here for a few more breaths. If you're working with the leg up, reach the toes up toward the ceiling. Right toes up and then switch. Left leg can reach up. Good, bring it back. Just take one more breath in your dolphin. Elbows and forearms lift through your core and then down to your knees. Child's pose, or you could even take your arms back into an embryo. Just give your arms a moment here. Good. All right, come back up to your hands and your knees. Take your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Send your right arm out and up. Lift and open through your chest. And thread the needle. So the right arm underneath your left. And opening up into the shoulder, and the side of the neck, and the upper back. Good, and then start to unwind out of that. Reach the right arm up, and the right hand can come back to the ground. Good. Other side, so left arm stretches up, open through your chest. Thread the needle on this side. And then start to unwind out of that. Send your left arm back out. Reach. Bring your hand back to the mat. Awesome, you guys. Go ahead and make your way onto your back. So you can scooch around, roll down onto your backs, and hug your knees in toward your chest. Rocking side to side. And then go ahead and place the soles of your feet to the ground and set up for bridge pose. So we want to place the heels of the feet right underneath the knees. So a good rule of thumb for this is to reach the arms down along your sides and just to be able to barely touch the backs of your heels. Feet are parallel. Bend your elbows like robot arms. Before you lift your pelvis up, push with your elbows into the ground and lift your chest up. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together underneath you. Keep the chest lifted and then lift your pelvis without dropping the heart down or letting the knees kind of splay out. Imagine you had a block between your thighs. You could even place a block there if you want for that resistance. Maybe the arms stay as is, or you clasp your hands underneath the body, working the shoulders and the shoulder blades in a little bit more. On your in-breath, lifting through your heart, through the back of the heart. Exhale, hug those legs in, maybe lift a little bit more through the pelvis. Make sure you've got space at the back of your neck, that cervical curve, and that you're not just tightening up your glutes. Soften your glutes a little bit. Make sure you've got that natural curvature of the lumbar spine. 2 more deep breaths here in bridge, just letting the breath work you and open the heart. Exhale, let's release it all back down and hug the knees in toward the chest. Once again, rocking or circling. Some of you might want to move into a happy baby pose, grabbing a hold of the outer edges of your feet, soles of the feet. Face up toward the ceiling and maybe rocking this side to side. Relax through your neck, through your face. Feel into this low back release. Good. Now let the feet go. Extend your left leg out long to the floor. Pull your right knee in toward your chest and circle this right knee around a few times. So you're moving through the right hip joint. And then we're going to take the left hand to the right knee. Stretch your right arm out to the right and just guide your right leg over for your spinal twist. If that much of a twist does not feel good to you, back off a little bit. You can keep your pelvis and your hips level and just gently pull your leg over. Or you can come into that full twist. Just letting the breath be felt in the body. Good. Bring your right knee back in toward the chest. And then stretch your leg back out long to the floor. And then switching sides, so hug your left knee in. And you're going to start to circle just a little bit through the left knee, moving through your hip joint on this left side. Good. And then right hand to left knee. The left arm can stretch out to the left. And just gently guide your left leg over for your spinal twist, your supine twist here. Doesn't have to be maxed out. You can back off and leave plenty of space for your breath. Good. Taking one more here. And then let's pull that left knee back in toward the chest. And stretch the leg back out to the floor. Reach your arms up and back alongside your ears. Take a deep breath here. And release the arms back down. And allowing the body to rest and to settle here into Shavasana, corpse pose. So you can just recline on back. We'll spend the last few minutes here in Shavasana. Letting your eyes close, letting your body completely rest and surrender. And sometimes it's nice in this posture to let the feet just open out naturally, let the palms open up toward the sky. If you happen to have a bolster or a cushion, you could place that underneath your knees. Coming into this place of surrender, You begin to expand your breath and start to move a little bit through the fingers and the toes, making your way over to your side for a moment. And then all the way back up to your seat. And on your next in-breath, reach and lengthen the arms up. And just gather the hands together and bring them to your heart. And with deep gratitude for this practice, for our connection here, we'll finish with one round of Om. Take a full breath in. Namaste.